esteemed members of Kerala Management Association, respected university representatives, dear colleagues, close associates, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Namaste, Namaskaram, and a very good evening to all. I'm Srihari Ravi, along with
Labib Mahbub.
we are a part of Jain University Kochi campus, and we will be your MCs for today. It is absolute honor to welcome you all to the special gathering of KMA Insight series. To officially begin the proceeding, let us take a moment to extend our gratitude to the Almighty. May I kindly request everyone to raise for a silent prayer.
Thank you. You may please be seated now. Now, it is my pleasure to invite our first speaker for the evening, Mr. Dilip Narayanan, the Vice President and Program Chair of KMA. He will deliver the welcome address and set the context for today's gathering. Please welcome Mr. Dilip Narayanan.
Good evening. Presiding Officer, our Senior Vice President, Mr. R.G.S. Khalid, Honorary Secretary, Anil Verma, Distinguished Chief Guest of the day, Mr. Santosh Nambiar, Managing Committee members, past presidents, beloved KMA members, and student chapter members. At the outset, let me welcome each one of you to the 6th edition of Insight X, 6th edition of this KMA year. In this platform, we learn from real stories, stories that sharpen our thinking and push us toward better choices and braver leadership. Tonight's topic is the art of conscious balance, a path to focus, clarity, and innovation. The timing couldn't be better. Our lives are full of notifications, meetings, and noise. Balance is not a luxury anymore. It's a leadership discipline. It's my privilege to welcome Mr. Santosh Nambiar, founder and managing director, Assay Melbourne, and author of The Art of Conscious Balance. Mr. Nambiar has spent 3 decades in biotech, connecting researchers with the tools that power life-saving science. He leads a team of experienced scientists trusted across Australia and New Zealand. But that's a professional background, but his life story carries the more profound lesson. A personal health crisis in the past became his turning point. Through illness and uncertainty, he discovered a quieter strength, the power of clarity, the courage to serve with empathy, and the conviction to build a business that honors both science and the human spirit. He carries this message beyond boardrooms through his books, mentoring, workshops, and his YouTube channel. For business leaders and professional managers, too, this is very practical question. How do we build teams that stay calm under pressure? How do we design businesses that are high performing and at the same time humane? How do we show up when it matters most? Tonight, it's not about a motivational speech or it's more for a motivation for a moment. It's about a practice you can take back to work, home, and community. Thank you all for being here. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Dilip, for the warm welcome and for the introducing our speakers. Next, we have the presidential address. May I invite Mr. R.K.S. Khalid, Senior Vice President, KMA, to address the gathering.
Chief guest of the day, Mr. Santosh Nambiar, Vice President and Program Committee Chair, Dilip Narayan, Honorary Secretary KMA Varma, ladies, gentlemen, girls and boys, good evening to everyone. I am standing in for our President, Mr. K. Harikumar, who is traveling outside the state for an important meeting, so he couldn't make for today's meeting. So he asked me to preside this function on his behalf, which I readily agreed and to be here. It has been some time since I have spoken for a weekly meeting since the last year's barrage of events every week, where you got fed up with my face seeing me week after week. So I thought of taking a break until I got some calls from people, what's happened to you? We are wondering where you are. So I thought I will show up my face and say that I am still here, and that's the beauty of KMA. Once the role is over, you move on to the next and you hand over the baton to the next most eligible person to take it and run faster, better and more efficient than what you have done. And then we have the baton has passed on to the most safest hand and most efficient and most creative person among our team member, Dilip Narayan, who is doing a wonderful job. And this is the 6th program of KMA this year. Please give him a loud applause. I'm happy to inform you that last year, the KMA got a very big recognition at All India platform, at All India Management Association National Convention in New Delhi, where our association was awarded the best local management association in the country among all the 68 national management associations. The entire credit goes to our president, Mr. Bibu Punuran. As you know, in an F1 race, there is only one person who goes on to the podium, and that's the driver. And all the other team members are the cheerleaders. So a big clap to Bibu Punuran for a wonderful year. This year, the mandate for me as a senior vice president is to organize annual management convention. And the expectation is very high, and the tension for me is also palpable. But I will try my best to bring out an iconic convention to the stature and the level of KMA. So the managing committee has decided to hold once again the convention. This is the 68th year of KMA this year, and this will be the 43rd annual management convention, and we have decided to hold it at the Grand Hyatt Convention Center on the 15th and 16th of January 2026. And we have started working hard to make it iconic for all of you, so that you will give the same encouragement, support and the presence like you did last year for the programs throughout the year. We have got some very good speakers lined up. We will have some very important people. Some of the speakers who have confirmed is the Chief Economic Advisor, Government of India, Mr. Anand Nageshwaran has confirmed, and he's going to be speaking on transforming Indian economy for a sustainable prosperity for all. This is based on the theme which we have adopted for the convention, that is going to be transforming for impact, purpose, people, planet and profit. That's going to be the theme. We also have another very leading lady personality who has confirmed to be speaker. She was a former foreign secretary, the second lady foreign secretary of Government of India, who was an Indian ambassador to China, an Indian ambassador to United States of America, none other than Nirupama Rao. She will be addressing us on transformation and leadership with respect to geopolitics, current situation. This is very important. We have also got some other important speakers, like the head of Tata Motors, Mr. Anand Kulkarni. He'll be talking about the EV revolution and the transforming impact it is going to make on the community. We also have another person who is the head of Indigo Airlines, the HR department, and currently the head of people and culture in CoreStack USA. He's going to talk about cultural transformation for strategic impact. So that's just a trailblazer. This is the starting of the whole thing. We are going to have exciting speakers lined up, one after another. So I want you all to give me the same support, encouragement, and motivation to come out with the best management convention this year. We have got excellent support. I'm very happy to say that Mr. Deepak Aswani and family, Tom Joseph, all of them are working together shoulder to shoulder with me to give you the best thing. So I look forward to your support in that. I don't want to stand between you and an excellent speaker, and moreover, he's going to talk about conscious balance. That's the most biggest challenge for all of us. So I would like to close here and wish you a great evening. Sit back and enjoy and balance your conscience. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Khalid, for your inspiring words. Now we move to the highlight of our evening. Please welcome our keynote adjunct speaker, Mr. Santosh Nambiar, founder and managing director of Assay and author of The Art of Conscious Balance. Mr. Nambiar will share his profound insights with us tonight.
Thank you. As Algiers was mentioning, sit back and enjoy and relax. This is what the Indigo Airlines will normally say, isn't it? This is not what it is going to be. I'm going to really make you think about quite a few things, and you're not going to enjoy it at all. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions, and you're going to ask me a lot of questions, and we are going to start a journey of what we call self-introspection or self-discovery. And my evening's agenda would be taken care of if at least a few of you could start a journey of self-introspection, which started for me way back in 2000. And I recall Dilip mentioned about a health crisis that happened way back in 2000. That was in Perth, in Australia. So what I wanted to share with you is that, a health scare or a major disaster or a catastrophe shouldn't come in your way to wake you up. So especially, young people sitting here should be able to start a self-introspection. The sooner, the better. And so that's the idea. That's what I would like to. So you're not going to enjoy this. You're not going to sit back and relax. Take it from me. Having said that, I just want to make a few points clear. This is not a lecture, because if you ask me how to set up a company, a biotechnology company in Australia, not even in India, I don't know anything about India, in Australia, I would be able to tell you that, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the things that you need to take care of. Whereas the topic that we're going to discuss has no steps involved. It's got various parts. So there is no way I can actually tell you that 1, 2, 3, 4, you've reached. And so this is not a lecture. And I'm just sharing my experience since 2000, since I have started this journey of self-introspection. So I'm just sharing that with you. I'm not an expert. I don't want to be an expert. I want to be a student. And the good thing that happened to me since 2000, when that the health scare happened to me. And I would say that was a blessing in disguise. I'm not going to talk about me. I don't have the time. But if I look at it now, which is 25 years since that happened, it was a blessing in disguise. It was an intervention that was bound to happen. And this is exactly what I'm sharing with young people, younger than you, school children, before they get into the kind of the conditioned behavior that you're showing me now, because I can't see any smile on your face. There's a lot of constriction. Where has the smile gone? I'm talking about young people. Can you see how constricted you are? There's something sitting on your head as if a huge rock has been placed on your head, especially the young children these days. Stress, anxiety, fear, isn't it? So that's really killing us. So I'm talking to young children, and I think what I'm trying to say is the sooner the better. The sooner we start the journey of self-introspection, the better. So we are here for a bit of an exercise. Please bear with me. I'm not an expert. I'm learning, and this is a work in progress. I can share my experience, and I'm going to use quite a few words. I just wanted to actually give you a heads up on some of the words that I'm going to use. One is awareness, the other one is consciousness, mindfulness, oneness, non-duality. Quite a few words, isn't it? They're all pointing to the same thing. It's got more different meaning. It's all pointing to the same thing. And so if I use those words, it's just meaning just one thing. So the other word I wanted to introduce to you before I start this session was, I use two words. One is intellect, the other one is intelligence. But for this session, I'm going to borrow, with permission from Dilip and all the management committee, and including you, your own word, which is the Insight X. The Insight X. I think it's a beautiful word. I don't know who actually coined it, but I really like that word. I'm going to borrow that. Did you? So I'm going to take it from you. Probably I'm going to use it in future as well. So, sorry? Yeah, this is actually not a lecture. I don't want to be just one person speaking, and please have a conversation. This is a dialogue. And I really rather have a dialogue than have a lecture, because if as I said before, a lecture is something where I say, I know fully. I know what I'm talking about. Like, I can talk about setting up a biotechnology company. I can give you a lecture on that, but this is something we're talking about Insight X. The X has a meaning, isn't it? Something which we don't know. And the best thing that happened to me since I started this self-introspection is that I am able to say, I don't know. I have no ego preventing me from saying, I don't know. Because when I say I don't know, what does it do? It allows more knowing to happen, a profound knowing to happen. The moment you say, I know, yes, you can say, I know the theoretical part of mathematics or biology of it, but this particular subject that you're talking to, I would always say, I don't know, which allows a profound knowing to happen. And if I say, I know, my knowing stops then and there. So I wish to be a student until I die. And so the practice that I'm following is a work in progress. So I'm not an expert on this. So coming back to those two words that I was going to talk about is the intellect. Sorry, I changed that, which is the insight as well as the insight X, the X factor. Now, if you are able to discover not discover, rediscover. Why do I say rediscover? Because that X factor was there just a few years ago when you were a child. How old are you? About 18, 20? 21? It was there when you were a child. And we have actually got conditioned. And now look at your face. Where did that joy go? Where did that joy, the innocence and the energy of that young baby go? So these are questions that we need to ask. So don't relax, don't enjoy. There's a lot of questions coming your way. So where were we? So I just want to talk about the insight. I'm sorry, because always this thing comes in between. I'm using the word intellect versus intelligence. So I'm now trying to change over consciously to insight and insight X. So what is insight really? Can you understand what is insight? Insight, I'm using just a word, is everything that you've learned from your upbringing, from your books, from what you've read, from what others have said, is your intellect, which you actually store away where? In your brain, isn't it? You're storing away. Even this moment, this session, whatever is happening in this moment is being recorded and stored away in the memory in the hippocampus. It's getting stored away continuously, like a supercomputer, much bigger than a supercomputer. So that is the intellect. Now, that has its limitations. Why do I say that? Because you're 21 years of age and you have 21 years of intellect stored away in your brain, isn't it? Does that make sense? Yes. Am I making clear? Yes. I'm just giving you just a bit of the words that I'm going to use, and then I'll get into those slides so that you have a better understanding. And let's say Dilip is probably about 45 years old. I have no idea. So Dilip has 45 years of intellect, and I'm 60. I'm really 60 years old, and I have 60 years of intellect that I've actually read, acquired through my books, through teachers, through my parents, through my mother, from the society. And so that is limited, isn't it? 60 years. So how long can you go for? 120? No? 100 years maximum is the intellect that we can have. And that is limited. Whereas the insight X that we're talking about is unlimited, is profound. Now the problem we have with us is because we are actually plugging into the insight, just the insight. And if I want to give you an analogy, insight is like a burning candle, flickering candle. It's all right. In a dark room, it gives you a bright light. Open the curtains, what happened? The light, the flickering light of the candle is dwarfed by the sunlight, of the bright sunlight. So if you are plugging into that insight, which is a flickering candle, you are just going to survive. Whereas if you're able to plug into something bigger, profound, like the sunlight, then you're going to thrive, flourish, and become more clearer in what you want to do in life. Your purpose becomes very clear in life. And you're not, and the more important benchmark is that you begin to smile more. You're not constricted anymore. You're not conflicted anymore, not constricted anymore. You begin to emerge from the cocoon. And like a butterfly, we begin to realize that we have a lot more potential than we were while we were in the cocoon. So that's the difference between insight and the Insight X. So we're going to rediscover, again, I'm going to use the word not discover, but rediscover this Insight X. Is that okay? So I've given you just a basic of it, and let's get into these slides. So, as I mentioned, we are going to talk about something which we can't talk about in words. Whatever words you use, it will not reach there. You know why? I'll give you an analogy. Imagine you have tasted honey, and the taste is beautiful. It is peculiar, the taste of honey, isn't it? But can you describe that to anyone? Maybe you can put some words into it. Yeah, it was tasty, it tasted this way, it tasted that way. But can you really describe the taste of honey to somebody? And the same way, that which we are going to describe is indescribable. So what I'm trying to convey is that, look, there it is. There's something there. You can go get it. And if you get it, the life become more surviving, really thriving, flourishing, and fully flowering. That's why I have the picture of the flower, and the bees are actually trying to get the honey. So, as I said, I'm going to use this word, the Insight X, which is a beautiful word, and therefore we are going to, if you were able to discover or rediscover your Insight X, which has not gone anywhere, then everything begins to align with you in your life. And that is what I have experienced. I'm not saying that you will get it as well, because I don't know. That is up to you. And I don't care. But if you do it, the sooner the better. Absolutely fantastic. So I think we've actually gone through these slides. There's quite a few words there. They're all pointing to the same thing. Now, I just want to ask you young people, where did the smile go? I just want to give you an example. Yes, today is Friday, and you're going to smile for sure because, you're getting into a weekend, isn't it? So, what really happens is that on a Monday morning, when you actually jump into a train in Melbourne, on a Monday morning, you can see the face of people so constricted, so conflicted, and as if, don't talk to me. And they would be probably listening to something, meaning, please leave me alone. Or they might be not even reading books these days, they're on your phone, isn't it? So which means, please don't talk to me, leave me alone. And that is the situation on a Monday morning. And of course, the same on Tuesday morning as well. But on a Friday evening, things are different. As if they brought the freedom. So, my question is, where did that smile go? And if we were able to rediscover our Insight X, we would be smiling more. And if we were able to smile more, the creativity, the innovation, and empathy, oneness, freedom, joy, everything begins to align. in our life. Miracles do happen. I don't believe in miracles, but it happens. And even if you look at it, I don't know anyone sitting here, not a single person. How did this happen? I have no idea. Honestly, I met Dilip this just now. I met Sindhu just today. And there's no connection between me and you. But how did this happen? I'm talking to you. I have no idea. So this has been happening. Then this too happened. And I can tell you one other thing, that I'm actually I was born in a remote village in Kannur. And I had no knowledge of English. And I was actually doing my schooling in Malayalam. But I didn't know anything about English. But yeah, despite that now, because of rediscovering this Insight X, I'm able to, I don't know how, able to actually do the things that I'm able to do now. It's not me. So that is why I call it an X factor. So now the question is, how can I get my smile back? And if you get your smile back, then everything kind of falls in place. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a biology. Being a biologist, I just wanted to give you an idea why we are not smiling the way we were smiling before. Just wanted to give you an idea of biology. Like, remember the egg and the sperm fuses, fertilizes, and forms what? One single cell? Single cell. And this single cell goes through mitosis, meiosis, and divides and divides and divides and divides and divides. Trillions of cells. Trillions and trillions of cells, isn't it? So thousands of cells actually come together and forms your heart. And thousands of cells comes together and forms your brain. And thousands of cells comes together and forms your kidney. And so what happens is that there are almost about, more than 100 trillion cells in your body. And it has got its own intelligence. It's working together and saying, look, have you got enough calcium? Have you got enough magnesium? If not, I'll pump magnesium. And there is a lot of signal transduction happening and transmembrane, talking happening to make sure that your body is in good shape. Now what happens is that when you are thinking about something that has been happening in the past, or thinking about something that is going to happen in future, there's a lot of stress that happens to these 100 trillion cells. Now these 100 trillion cells can actually take on the stress to some extent. It's got some threshold to take on those stress. And when you begin to put on more stress by way of thinking unnecessarily, unwanted mind noise, what happens is that these cells says, I just can't take this anymore. This guy is actually giving me a lot of stress. And then what happens is that the cells themselves are at ease with each other, are not ease. So that's why we have something called dis-ease. And therefore you get into the hospital. Precisely what happened to me when I was actually going through that situation way back in 2000. The kind of stress that I actually put on myself, because I was actually a senior corporate leader, traveling around, living out of a suitcase, and my face was constricted, my mind was conflicted, and I was not even smiling. There was a lot of stress. And therefore what happened was that the immune system really became weak, and there came the diseases, and I was in the hospital. So can you see, the amount of stress, you may go and do your physical exercise in the gym, or you may go for a jog, you may go for whatever you do, Pilates or whatever it is. But then the amount of stress that these thoughts, unwanted thoughts about the past or future is giving you is immense, that it can actually take you for a ride. And we don't even worry about it. We actually keep it as a back burner. We'll look after it sometime, but it is actually causing a lot of harm to our body. And one of the things, scientifically and biologically, what really happens is that these cells, there's some cells called the rogue cells, and they divide themselves and forms your cancerous cells inside. So these are all things that do happen because of this. And so the reason why I'm saying is this: why do we ignore the harm that the unwanted noise is creating? And if we are creating such a stress on our body, on our organs, how can we really smile? And why are we not doing anything about it? Is that not a good question to ask? Does that make sense? Are you able to relate to what I'm saying? So I'm asking you guys, where did my smile go? So what is art of conscious balance, and how can it help get my smile back? Is a good question, isn't it? So we need to do it, otherwise you're going to really become old pretty quick. So how can the art of conscious balance help get my smile back, which will also get your Insight X back, and which will also give you a life of thriving, flourishing, and also a lot of other things like creativity, innovation, and your life is no more mediocre, no more mechanical. And you will also wonder, can I really do these kind of things? Why didn't I think about these kind of things? And interesting, very interesting. So, okay, before I do that, I just wanted to use my hands here. This is how I relate, how I actually explain this, the art of conscious, to myself. This is very important. I'm actually talking to the children here because, I think if you get this, I will be very happy, because you are the one you're going to actually go and build this nation. And we become old, and I don't know what we will do anymore. So I'm targeting the young children, probably younger than you guys. So just listen to what you may relate. If you're not able to relate, let me know. And this is how I relate to this. This is how I relate to this. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is you. What's your name?
Rian.
Riya?
Rian.
Rian? Rian. This is Rian. You were a child, remember? You were smiling. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of enthusiasm. There's a lot of curiosity. There's a lot of innocence as well, isn't it? Now, what really happens is, as you grow, there's another Rian growing here. And this is, let's say, the mind. This is the mind. The mind conceived. Let's put Rian here. Mind conceived Rian. And what is Rian doing? Rian is observing everything that his father is doing, the mother is doing, the teacher is doing. He's imbibing everything like a sponge as you grow, isn't it? So here is this mind conceived Rian, and with his baggage, the conditioned baggage, we call that conditioned baggage. Rian with his anger, this guy didn't have any anger. And you call him, idiot. He's not going to, Rian is not going to react, absolutely. Thank you. And if you call this Rian, absolutely, because he learned it from somebody. What the hell are you talking about?
Anxiety, stress. How does my father react to stress? How does my mother react to stress? How do my teachers, my friends react? Hurt, jealousy, my likes, my dislikes, my opinion, my ideology, my concepts. You name it, it's all here. You name it. This is the baggage that has been created by the mind, and this is the identity, which is what? Rian, or put your name here, and it's got its baggage. Now what happens is that as you grow, this conditioned Rian has got a hold on this Rian. Can you see that? Now you have become, you started struggling. You started just surviving because of this baggage. It's like, you're carrying a huge bag full of sorrows, anxiety, stress, and this is how you're walking. And how can you smile? This one. Can you see that? Does it make sense? Yes. Right. You cannot smile. You're just surviving. You're plugging into that small candlelight, flickering candlelight. And therefore, you just become mediocre. Therefore, you're not even thinking out of the box. Therefore, you can only be just a follower, like a flock. And that is what I was. I was like you guys. Nothing new will happen from here because this is what my fathers or my teachers, everything is here. Now, there's a conflict happening here. Now this Rian is trying to say, look, Rian, go do this exam. You're going to do well. What will this say? Be careful. So can you see the conflict that is happening within you? Always there's a conflict happening. And this is the mind noise that we're talking about. And with that mind noise, how long can you go on for? And the thing is that nobody, I think I'll probably use this one.
I just want to use my hands. And nobody talks about this one. Nobody talks about it at the schools. Nobody talks about it at the, the parents don't talk about it. And even your friends won't be interested in having this conversation because this is a different conversation. They won't be able to talk to you about it. So you have to find it on your own. And I've bumped into it because I got a big hit. And I'm telling you that don't actually wait for this catastrophe or those kind of things to come into your way for you to realize this, that you are actually carrying a big baggage, the conditioned baggage. Now, I'm going to use that word that I used before. What was that? Insight and Insight X. Insight as well as the Insight X. This is what you've learned everything. Like books from your teachers, from your father, and Rian is 21 years of age, of intellect, is already there. And this is the mind noise. It's got anxiety, it's got its stress, it's got its fear, everything, right? Now, it's got a hold on this one. Where is the Insight X? This is the Insight X, sitting there in telling you that, you can do it. You can do it. And whereas this one says, you can't. Can you see the conflict? Okay, I'll give you an example. You had a bad day at the school or college, is it? College. And you actually fought with another person, let's say Anand. I'm just picking up a name, I don't know. You had a bad day with Anand, a friend of mine, he's Anand, so I picked up his name. And something happened there, and you exchanged a lot of bad words on that day. And Rian comes home and sits on his bed and thinks, why did I hurt Anand? There was no need at all. Who is saying that? This guy. You need to go and forgive him, apologize for what you've done. So what would this guy say? Can you see the conflict? So this guy wants to do it, but this guy doesn't want to do it. And so this is what we are actually struggling with in every aspect of our life. Whether you are writing an exam, whether you are going to, even a movie, should I go, should I need to spend that money? Can you see that? And this conflict, which is the mind noise, is draining your energy. How can you smile? Think about it. That is why I'm asking you not to sit back, not to enjoy, but it is time for self-introspection, especially for young people. My intention is to actually convey this to young children before they become conditioned, so that at least when they go to that state of adolescent, when they are confused. So this is confusion, isn't it? Should I do? You may take one step forward, and then what happens? You take two steps backward. You're not progressing in life, and this is just mediocre. You may, at best, do some adjustments to the wheel that you've already created, but you're not inventing a new stuff anymore. So this is what we are struggling with, and the art of conscious balance is now we need to, what do we need to do? Tell me, what do we need to do now? Isn't it? What's your name, sir? Srihari. We need to get this. So how do we do that? Yeah. So we need to do that. We need to do something. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what we do. We need to do this somehow. Otherwise, this is going to be what your life is, and you may not even last long, because you may end up in hospital, or you may probably survive for a few more years. And what good is it just surviving when you have been manifested on this earth to do so many things in life? What good is surviving? Like, being a child, learning, and then getting some degrees, getting into a job, buying a car, buying a house, making children, and then living for the children, and then dying. What good is it? I mean, I'm not asking you. These are questions that I asked, and I don't know what. If you don't ask those questions, this is what is going to happen. And I don't care about it, because as long as I do, I'm good. And if you do it, it's good for you. Does that make sense? So how do we do it? Any path will do. That is why I said this is a pathless land. There's no 1, 2, 3. Srihari, can you think of just one thing? Oh, no, don't depend upon anybody. Because then, can you think about something else? That is why I'm thinking, you need to think out of the box. I need to get this out of my way. But the challenge here is, I think this is the challenge. Now, this is useful, because as Rian is growing, he has to have an identity. And that is for what? Survival. That is, he needs to know the rules. He needs to have a passport. He needs to know that we have a session at 6 o'clock here or 6:30. He needs to find his way back home, and these are all required for his survival. Just survival. Whereas if you want to thrive and flourish, this has to go. Now, when you need it, you need to bring it. And when you don't need it, you need to keep it away. Because the default is this. So what happens here is that you are going back into the brain where everything has been stored, and retrieving it from the past and projecting it into the present as well as into the future, isn't it? And that is what is happening here, and that is our default. Now what we need to do is that we need to take the control and say, look, I don't need you, I need it, I'll call you when I need it. And therefore, your brain is getting rewired. And this is what has been rewired now for you guys almost since after age 3. Because at the age of 3 is probably when Rian recognizes his name. Prior to that, when you call Rian, he probably doesn't recognize. And therefore, that is a time when the mind conceived Rian begins to take shape. Does that make sense? So, this is what has been happening. So, when I need it, it's like, I just give you another analogy. I've got a lot of analogies. You know what a hybrid engine does? You all know, isn't it? Like, it's got electric as well as the gas, which is petrol or whatever. And so the system, the engine knows when to use the electric and when to use the gas. And therefore, the system works efficiently, doesn't it? Likewise, this system will work efficiently when you use the insight, when you need it, keep it away, and then allow this insight X to express. That balance is what I'm calling the conscious balance, and you can also use awareness as well. They are all the same words, and mindfulness and whatever. So that is the trick, and any path will do, any technique will do.
So,
But out of all the words I've selected, the word awareness. There's consciousness, there's mindfulness, there's oneness, there is presence, and the technique that I use now is the awareness. What awareness of what, Srihari? The awareness of the conditioned behavior coming and having a hold on you. Being aware of that. But normally we are not aware. So with awareness, it opens up. And then because of our habit, what happens? It comes back again. So non-awareness. You become again, just surviving. So this is the trick.
okay.
I don't need the board, Srijit. I'll probably use this one here.
So can you see that? I'll probably go over there here. How can we bring about awareness? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. So, hello.
What's this one here? What is it? This is unawareness, isn't it? Which is,
Sorry, can I give it to you? I don't need that. Because I need to use my hands. No, what is this? Thoughts after thoughts after thoughts after thoughts after thoughts. This is the default, isn't it? This is how we live. Which is what? This one. Right? Right. And this is survival, just survival. And therefore, you're not smiling. Conflict, I'm repeating it. I know I'm repeating it, but I just want to drive home those points to you guys. Then comes a state where you are becoming aware that you're thinking. For a moment, what happens there? I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking quite a bit. And at that moment, there is a space. And in that space, you're not thinking anymore. You're not thinking anymore. When you become aware that you're thinking, you're not thinking anymore. And that is awareness. And this space is what I call space of awareness, or space of consciousness, or space of mindfulness. Right? You've created this one here. And there is, because of this, there is no peace. There is no smile. Whereas over here, there's peace. Because there's no thought at that moment. And that's probably what happened to me when I was actually at the hospital. When I was going through that, whatever, biopsy and those kind of things, this fell off a little bit and opened up a space, and all those thoughts disappeared. And I felt so pleased. So then I started understanding, realizing what is this relation between this peace and mental noise. And then began the journey. Now, this is the space of creativity. This is the space of innovation. And this is a space of newness. And if you ask anyone for that matter, a beautiful art. In fact, I was speaking to Jojo, and he showed me how beautifully he was drawing things. And if you ask an artist, if you ask any exponent of Bharatanatyam or whatever you do, something creative, something new comes out of this. And if you ask them, how did this happen? I have no idea, it just came through me. And this happens here. And this is a space of creativity. And this is mediocrity. And if we can expand this in life, wouldn't that be nice? And that is what we're doing. And so how do we do this? Now, this is this. And for a moment you become aware. This one here. And then your default is what? This one, isn't it? You've gone back again. So now we need to practice this. At least for the first day, you have an awareness of a short duration. And then probably the next day you've got 2 more and 2 more. And until there is, you moved away from what? Awareness to unawareness. Is that right? Srihari? Makes sense? That's beautiful, isn't it? So this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Does that make sense? I'm just going through a little bit faster. I don't know what time I have. So how do we do this? How do we do it? How do we do it? Now, our thoughts are going this way, which is in the past most of the time. Our thoughts are going into the future most of the time. So I'll just give you an analogy. How many of you have dogs here? And you take the dogs for a walk, isn't it? And you put the dog on a leash, and the dog is going this way. And you pull it back. And the dog goes this way. You pull it back. It goes here. You pull it back. And pull it back. And pull it back. And pull it back. And then eventually what does the dog do? It comes and sits here, and it knows not to wander. And now, even if you release the leash, it may stay here. Now the leash is the technique that we're using. And dog is the mind which is wandering. So it's an irony, isn't it? Because as a young person, the mind was not wandering. And it's only now it's been wandering. Now you're going back to a state where you were, and you're rediscovering your Insight X. I'm coming back to that. Does that make sense? So I just was giving you an analogy. Now, what are some techniques we can use to bring awareness? So I think we discussed that, didn't we? Can anyone actually suggest an out-of-the-box technique to actually bring awareness? No? Okay, I will share with you some of the techniques that I have used. So this is again, like, you're going to get the honey, but there are several paths to it. Any path will do. Because those techniques that I have used may not work for you. And that is why I'm not actually sharing those techniques, because you need to find your own technique. It's a trial and error. And that is why it is called self-discovery or self-introspection. It's got two meanings. One is you're doing this on your own, and which is what? On your own self. And at the same time, you're also trying to find out your own true self, isn't it? Which is hiding inside you. So I think we've discussed this. So what is the root cause of your unawareness? Is your conditioned behavior coming and actually having a hold on you, isn't it? So where does this conditioned behavior begin from?
What is the root cause of it? This one. Right? So you don't have to take care of your anxiety. You don't have to take care of your, jealousy. You don't have to take care of your stress. You don't have to take care of your, all those worries and everything. What is actually creating it is your mind, isn't it? So remember this one. The gap, how did that happen? You became aware of it. What? Aware of what? Your mind. And that at that moment you're not thinking. So if that is a direct way of doing it. And so you need to bring this awareness in your life. What really happens is, like when you're waking up in the morning, you wake up and go to the bathroom, take the brush, and you're putting the paste, or you're thinking about what? Oh my goodness, I've got this meeting today. I'm not sure about the road condition. It's going to be really, I don't know how I'm going to get there. There's a lot of thoughts happening there, isn't it? But this becomes what? Just a mechanical thing. And the mind has already hijacked you. And then you are sitting down and having your breakfast. What are you thinking about? The meeting lined up for this morning. And therefore, can you really enjoy your breakfast that you have cooked or somebody else have cooked? And so and then what happens is that you're putting on your shoes, you're thinking about, the traffic on the freeway. And let's say you are in the meeting, and what are you thinking about? You're thinking about your lunch. And while at lunch, what were you thinking about? The meeting at 2 o'clock. And during the meeting at 2 o'clock, the elders will think about, my goodness, I need to pick up my children from the school. And can you see how that every thought, every step is a stepping stone to the next moment. And we are not even actually living in the present moment. And the life goes away until that moment never comes. So the sooner you begin, the better it is for you. So how do I do it? I'm talking about mind. You need to find your own. I can't help you. Being aware of your conditioned mind, noise. So what do I mean by that? Like, imagine, I just want to give you an analogy here.
So imagine this is your mind. Where is it? Here, isn't it? Somewhere here. So this is your mind. So when you're observing your mind, this is how you observe it. As an observer, observing the mind. Otherwise, it's going to consume you.
We can have another 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
I think so. There are several indirect techniques, and what I said was, you have to do your trial and error and improvise them. So, as I said, there are several paths to get there. Any path will do, and that is why we call it self-discovery. Only you can do it. And the benchmark is whenever you feel stressed, anxious, feeling grumpy, conflicted, constricted, and not smiling, be aware that you've moved away from being aware. That is this one, isn't it? So if this is what, you're smiling. If this one comes, so you're anxious, stressed. Does that make sense? Okay, it's like, imagine the stress, anxiety, fear, all those conditioned behavior like a snake. And if you are aware, the snake will stay away. If you are not aware, what will happen is, it'll come and inject poison in you.
Just go back to the 3 slides which you have shown. I think it's a repeat, but still.
This one?
Next one. No, next. Just
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. And before that?
So I was talking about the lack of awareness over here, therefore these things do come. And when the awareness comes in, we go into the next slide, which is there is creativity, there is clarity, there is productivity, and you thrive and flourish. Imagine this is the snake injecting poison in you. So awareness keeps it away. And the moment unmindful, unconsciousness, or unawareness happens, it comes in, bites you, and then what happens is that you actually hurt your own, family or your own friends. Like what I was talking about, Rian and Anand, you are going to actually hurt them. Okay, now I leave that for you to read. Don't believe anything what I've said today. This is my experience. Try this for yourself and find out. This is what people call self-discovery. You're now on your journey. In my opinion, this is the journey of self-discovery everyone has to start. And I've been saying that over and over again. And now my mind has classified, I am not classifying it, my mind has classified people into 3 categories. And the first group of people are those people who have no idea about this awareness, mindfulness, or the art of conscious balance, and therefore they survive and they die. And the second are those people who have read about it, somebody have actually told them, and they have learned it from other people, and they know it intellectually, and therefore they say, I know. And what happens when you say I know? It prevents more? Absolutely. So, and the first group of people and the second group of people are on the same boat. And the third one is they realize the truth and practice it with discipline, living as if no other way exists. Of course, for me, I don't want to go back for sure. And this is what my life is 24/7. So my technique I use now is, can you see that? Presence. And I have a technique. I'm actually observing my mind, the conditioned mind, preventing me from actually trying to tell you what, articulate. Therefore, I'm very careful, very mindful, very aware, and there's a lot of presence in making sure that this doesn't come. If this comes, I'm talking about what other people have said, what I've learned, what I've written in my books. No, I don't want that. I want this profound knowing to come through me and relate to you. So the third group are the ones who have realized this truth, practice it with discipline, living as if no other way exists by saying, I don't know, and therefore allowing that space for this Insight X to come into us and do the magic.
You mean to say that these are the guys, the third sort of guys are the guys who practice the benchmarks?
Oh, yeah.
You are going to correlate with that.
Yeah,
Just go back. Benchmarks, you just should go back.
Yeah. So I was just giving you don't have to really correlate it, but I'm just giving you an example of.
Before that. Okay, next one. All right, next one.
So, just to let you know that, you have to, this is not a lecture. If you take it as a lecture, if you take it as a talk, you will be probably at the second level. Whereas you need to understand that this has to somehow go. What do I need to do? Can I go to the library? Can I go to the bookstore, buy some books and find out what techniques I can use? Just 1 or 2 techniques to start with today. Can you start the journey today? So, it's like this. You need to have the dedication, determination, discipline and devotion. And I think that is what they call in Sanskrit tapas.
that discipline has to be there. That is what, like for example, when you say that you will wake up at 5 o'clock and go to the gym, you will wake up at 5 o'clock and go to the gym. But if you don't, like if the alarm is ringing and you keep on snoozing, then you can't do this. But right, I realize you don't have the urgency at this moment because that big hit has not come in. And other people are actually in the same boat. So it's okay for me. But if you do that, then the life is going to be just surviving.
Thank you, Mr. Nambiar. Now we are entering into a beautiful part of every KMA session, where our esteemed guests get an opportunity to interact directly with the speaker. As we open the floor for the Q&A session, I kindly request anyone who wishes to ask a question to raise your hand. A microphone will be brought to you so that everyone can hear the question clearly. Let's make this an engaging and insightful interaction.
Considering the paucity of time, we will restrict the questions to just 2 questions, please. Sorry for that.
You were telling about this intellect and intelligence and insight and insight X. Now with this AI coming in, so where is that going to be now? There's an artificial intelligence that is creeping in now. So what is going to happen with that?
So, what's your name, sir?
Surendra.
Surendra, I have no idea. So the thing is, now, there are 2 ways I'm going to react to you. One is this way, which is what? Like, oh my goodness, I've read about artificial intelligence. How am I going to defend Surendra? I need to probably find an answer. There's a lot of anxiety and stress happening. Can you see this? Where can I actually get it? And if I don't answer this question, my goodness, I'm going to be cutting a sorry figure. Can you see that this way? What happens here? That anxiety and that worry is gone. And so, an answer may come, an answer may not come. Because honestly, my forte is biotechnology. And there's a lot of questions about artificial intelligence, and I think it is not been, we don't know who, we have no idea. So I can only say I don't really know anything about artificial intelligence. But Srihari, you said we can ask questions. Now, where do you want to put those questions? You have to ask those questions when you put it there, in that space of awareness, isn't it? Then you get the answers. And who am I to give an answer to you, to your question? I may get my own answers in that space. And the answers that I'm giving you may not even be related to yourself. And so there you have begun to use your brain, which is not cluttered anymore. And the brain is cluttered. And now here the brain is uncluttered and there is a lot of clarity, and this gives you the purpose in life. It will tell you what to do. And this is why I'm calling this Insight X.
Yes.
Hi sir, I'm Nandana. And
Hi Nandana.
as you said about the conscious mind, is the conscious mind always reliable, or are there any times that it's actually misleading us?
The confusion happens when the mind has been conditioned, because you've read from other people, you've learned from books, you've actually intellectually learned quite a few things, and that is what has confused me. And I'm only talking about from my experience. And therefore, I have been practicing this over 25 years, and I observe this conditioned mind and creating confusion in me, even as I speak today. So, a conditioned mind is the one that creates confusion. And The mind that is not conditioned, which I call the Insight X, has all the answers. And it can also give you the purpose. And it can make your life a purposeful living. There is empathy. There is a lot of, I think that is required in all of us now because of this turbulent time. And if you young children think about this and start this self-introspection today, what comes out is something called oneness. And oneness is nothing but between you and me, there's no barrier. And we are one with each other. If that is the case, how would I actually hurt Rian? Or how would Rian hurt Anand? Because I've realized that this barrier is gone. And even in business, this has happened. Like, this barrier is gone. And previously, when I'm like this, it is like, how can I get this business? How can I get this business? What can I get it out of him? I need to actually, make my budget, make my target. Whereas over here, I'm not thinking about that. How can I be of help to him? And this is what I've been living the last 15, 16 years with my own business. Does that make sense?
In a professional environment, when you're young and then you have to face targets and when you have to face management and when you're supposed to be a leader of a group, can you be indifferent? Somebody asks you questions, you can just stay away and say nothing. Is it possible? No, this is just a hypothetical situation which I am quoting.
Yeah.
Is it possible to be indifferent? I'm sorry, Khalidji, I had to.
No, so I don't know whether indifferent is the right word.
Well, I use that as a convenient word, maybe something else. But then I thought
You're right. Yeah, so what really happened, may I know your name, sir?
Sudarshan Kumar.
Sudarshan, thank you. I think if we have this technique, probably we don't. And therefore, there is a lot of things happening with the budgets and targets and the stress and anxiety, you're not smiling. But if you were able to get this thing right, the Insight X come out, then what it tells you is it gives you the right guidance in every situation. Everything seems to be aligning, and you may have a big, huge problem that comes in your way, but then somehow some things get sorted out. And that is the power of the awareness, that is the power of Insight X. It gives you the guidance, whereas if this were to be the guidance that you're taking, which is your insight or intellect, then oh my goodness, no, I learned this from somebody, okay, can I use this? Yes, it may work, it may have worked for him or her, but it may, and in that situation, it may not work in this situation. So there is that limitation.
A final word. Can you just define Insight X in your own language? You've been using that. We have got the Insight X series there, but then what exactly have you, how do you define that?
Yeah, Hari, can you help me?
No, I was asking your good self, sir.
All
We would
right.
like to hear from you.
Right. So this is the Insight X, which is your true self,
Fine.
right? Unconditioned self. And this is your conditioned self, your facade. And when the facade comes, then you have your jealousy, you have your anger. I don't want to talk to you. He's going to snatch away money from me, and there's a barrier between you and me. But when this goes, your true self, which is this unconditioned self, gets expressed. And therefore, what happens is that there is no facade anymore. That I'm here to actually help you. I'm here to. And oneness comes in. There is empathy. There is this feeling of joy. There is this feeling of, energy and everything out there. You're smiling more.
So Insight X series probably is.
I think I will now invite our senior managing committee member, Mr. Deepak Aswani, to come on stage and hand over a memento to the speaker. Please.
I'm not concerned about
Thank you, sir.
Did you get it? Did you guys get it?
Yes.
And did it make sense?
Yes.
Did it relate? Can you start self-introspection? Go to library or go to any bookstore and find out some techniques to get this out. What is the word then? Or awareness, isn't it? So that's all what I want to talk to you about. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Mr. K. Anil Verma, Honorable Secretary of KMA, to extend a word of thanks.
Good evening.
Oh, thank you.
I think maybe if we can provide more time, I think he will speak on and more on about mind, and what a difficult subject, isn't it? I think we all live in the past, in the future, and we don't live in the present. Try to live in the present. And thank you, sir, for being with us this evening and everything about the mind and whatnot. Thank you so much. And I also thank all the past presidents, managing committee members, young minds, students, and all ladies and gentlemen present here. Thank you. Good night.
As we come to a close, I request everyone to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे